Hey everyone, Chloe here, and welcome back to my channel. And if you are new here, ladies and lurkers, welcome. So I wanted to follow up and to take a deeper dive on a community discussion that we've been having over at Hypergamous Hive, not only about the baby's horrible narcissistic behavior and his back and forth baby mama drama, but also about women such as Leigh and others who wish to position themselves as a man's upgrade because of their smugness and their entitlement and because of their egos. And not surprisingly, all women have egos. Now, for those of you who need a bit of a backstory, the rapper DaBaby, whose government name is Jonathan Lindale Kirk, and who is a very immature and who is a very dysfunctional 29-year-old who attracts a lot of drama, most recently made social media viral news this week by deciding to berate and to humiliate, in his words, his certified side chick and new mother, the Miami-born Dominican singer, dancer, and performer, Dani Leigh. Now, Jonathan decided to wake up Dani Leigh at 3 a.m. in the morning to throw her and her newborn baby out of his North Carolina condo, and went even further in his humiliation bag by turning a private argument into a public act of disgrace and humiliation on Instagram Live. And yes, his dusty actions are deplorable and disgusting and disrespectful and out of pocket and are indicative of his very low character, and his actions overall are just very ghetto and low value. Because no woman, especially a woman with a young baby, deserves to be abused and mishandled. But I wanted to discuss how some women and their very poisonous egos can find themselves in situations where they want to believe that they are the exception, and where they want to believe that they are the upgrade, and where they want to believe that they are better in the bedroom, that they are the better standard and the better catch. And sometimes these beliefs are inflamed and gassed and even given lighter fluid by the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde men that they are dating. And sometimes these very arrogant beliefs are cultural, and sometimes these very arrogant beliefs are based upon the competitive and the comparative nature of women when it comes to men. Some women will believe that their fame, that their success, that their bag or her public stature or her desirability amongst other men, or more importantly, her perceived pretty privilege, will position herself to be a man's better choice. Or she will gas herself into believing that she will be a better reflection of a man's current success compared to his old relationships. But the truth will always remain that a woman's beauty, or her body shape, or her skin complexion, or her skin tone, or her public stature, or her perceived hierarchy cannot change or influence a toxic man's hardwired character, or his damaging relationship history, or his inclination to humiliate, to cheat, and to abuse. And believe it or not, this mindset amongst women of all ages is a very common competitive and comparative mindset that a lot of arrogant, entitled, and insecure women of all nationalities will have, including black women. Now, in the case of Dani Leigh, she made the very huge public mistake by throwing herself into DaBaby's narcissistic triangulation and his gaslighting antics, and by creating a very wax sauce and a very tone deaf and a very distasteful sneak diss song called Yellowbone Is What He Want, because she was obviously very caught up in wanting to be DaBaby's chosen one, and wanting to be DaBaby's one and only, and wanting to position herself as his wifey and as his glorified public upgrade, as DaBaby has an ongoing and a continual open door policy with his other plaything slash baby mother, Mimi, who has accepted her lower position as the baby's permanent concubine and his loyal kept woman. Now, to the ladies and lurkers who are ear hustling, these are the types of love triangles that will happen when a man has positioned himself as the toxic prize to be fought over and to be earned. And these are the kinds of relationships where insecure men will manipulate and will yank the puppet strings of all parties who are involved, and where men like the baby will position themselves to be chased, to be coveted, to have their egos stroked, to be worshipped, and where women will embarrass themselves to openly share a man and will position themselves to grovel and to beg and to have a seat at his table. And a lot of men will get away with this behavior because there are so many so-called beautiful but low self-esteem having women who will do anything to chase and have love. And there are so many women who are willing to play that ego game of I'm not like the other girls to distinguish herself from her competition, only to have this low value mindset backfire and blow up in her face like a stick of dynamite. Now, all women should have high self-esteem and confidence and self-worth, but to think that your looks or your perceived pretty privilege or your skin tone will be a motivating force to change a man's character or a man's behavior is often where a cocky woman will always miss the memo and miss the mark and will get the rude awakening of her life in the form of some very, very swift karma. Just ask Gabrielle Union. Ladies, ugly or pretty, if a man has it within his character to womanize and to mistreat others and to have a baby on you, it will only be a matter of time before the mask is dropped and he is chopping your tree down and is cutting your water off, especially if that man is a cocky and arrogant Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde narcissist, because everyone knows that the narcissist will treat everyone like trash because that is their specialty due to their large amounts of poisonous and toxic self-hate. Now, in my opinion, Dani Leigh is not only in a very nasty love triangle, but she is also in the middle of some very nasty spiritual warfare and a narcissistic soul tie. And no matter how much the internet strangers will scream about seeing the red flags, or no matter how much they yell at her for needing to leave that man and his dysfunctional old face alone, a woman will only get up from the table when she is full and not a minute sooner. That is why it is called a trauma bond, as people naturally tend to learn from their bad judgment calls and their poor decision making and their lack of discernment from the bumped head of experience. Because as women, we are more inclined to choose the dysfunction of what is familiar and of what we know from our childhoods and what was modeled to us until we are cognizant enough to break the pattern or the generational curse or the pathology when we have hit rock bottom. And every woman has a different threshold for pain, will have a different threshold for what she is willing to tolerate, and every woman's rock bottom will look different. So how this Dani Leigh triangulation, humiliation situationship will play itself out will be totally up to her and her ability to pick up her low self-esteem up off the floor. Now, as a feminine woman, as tempting as it is, I will not thumb down my nose at Dani Leigh or even at Mimi, who in my opinion is as equally lost and who is wearing the same dunce cap and who is wearing the same clown fit that Dani Leigh is wearing. But I've learned through experience to never say, I would never, or that couldn't be me, when I am on the outside of a situation looking in, because no matter your skin tone, life will humble everyone, and humility has everyone's address. So that is all that I have to say on this for now. Dani Leigh was being a bird when she gassed herself to be that dusty maniac's upgrade because she wanted to win. But the baby and his rap money bag is no prize to compete for because he is a proven womanizer, and as of now, he is not a man who is interested in being tied down or kept. Dani Leigh, along with Mimi, needs to love herself. She needs to listen to Summer's album. She needs to sit in a therapist's chair, and she needs to chant Ciara's prayer morning, noon, and night, and to put herself on a required path of healing. So ladies and lurkers, have you ever competed for a man? Have you ever been a fool in love? And did you win that man, or did you end up becoming the biggest loser? And as always, I look forward to reading your amazing responses to this video below. And stay tuned for more cautionary tales to come. And I will catch up with you ladies and lurkers in the next one.